So guys, this was the moment the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, spoke on how dirty the Nigerian politics is, how, politics is mixed up with insecurity and all that. He also recalled how Boko Haram nominated Buhari to be their spokesperson to negotiate on their behalf. He also talked about how he's going to die with the scar of the Chibok girls, which they used as a political tool to remove him from office. So guys, a whole lot happening in Nigeria. Now, these people are beginning to speak up. Some of them that knows what that is going on in Nigeria in the political space as regards to the insecurity we are seeing today are beginning to open up. Just take your time to watch this video and hear for yourself what the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, has got to tell Nigerians. Take a look.
Because I was there. The Boko Haram started 2009 when I was the vice president to late Yaradua. Of course, I took over 2010 for 5 years, battling with the Boko Haram until I left. I thought that immediately I leave, within a reasonable time, late General Buhari was going to wipe them out, but till today, the Boko Haram is still there. So the issue of Boko Haram is a little more complex than sometimes we can conjecture. In 1999, when Obasanjo just became a president, we had some issues in the Southwest. But government was able to bring it down because there was a clear focus, there was clear reason, and government was able to. Then we had issues in the Niger Delta. And when I became the vice president, one of the major things I did was to visit the most dangerous camp of the militants in the Niger Delta. I remember when we flew down to Warri, by the time we got to the waterfront to take boats to that camp, they sent information to us that anybody following me must not carry a weapon. My ADC, my CSO, that nobody should carry a weapon. In fact, the Commissioner of Police of Delta State said, Vice President, no, you will not go there. The State Director of SSS to say, no, I will not go. I told them I will go. So even my officers, my ADC, my CSO, and so on, they handed over their guns to the CP and the SDS of Delta State, and none of them carried weapon. When we landed at the camp, these boys lying up one this way, one road this way, with their assault rifles, just facing the bush, not even looking at my direction as if there was nothing happening. We passed through them, sorry. We had a meeting with their leaders and so on. We had to spend almost 1 hour there. When we came back, that was the beginning of solving the the Niger Delta crisis, and we're able to get through. At least now, there's a reasonable pace in the Niger Delta. If you, like Bishop Kuka mentioned, the 82 and 83, when we have the Maitasinde religious crisis in this country. From research, the Maitasinde religious crisis, when some of them were arrested and analyzed and interviewed, they came from parts of the Sahel area between Nigeria and outside Nigeria, where we had major drought within that period, and the river pest disease that wiped out so many cattle, and so many young people from these areas migrated to the cities, Maiduguri and others, and they had no skills and nothing to do, and they were able to be recruited and cause havoc. Luckily, it was a military government then, so when the military intervened, they were able to bring it down because there was a clear reason. A reason of young people who were looking for survival, but they had no skills, and so on and so forth. So if you put all these things together, you begin to say, this Boko Haram, why is it that from 2009 till date, we've not been able to resolve the crisis of Boko Haram? So just like Bishop Kuka tried to raise some fundamental issues. Yes, we need to approach it differently. The issue of carrots and the stick may be adopted. And yes, probably they need certain, but if you look at the weapons they use and you value the weapons, then you know that these are not hungry people. So the soldiers that sometimes capture some of the weapons will see better. But the weapons they use, the ammunitions they use, sometimes they even have more ammunitions than our soldiers. So it doesn't show that they're hungry people. And where are these guns sophisticated weapons coming from. And you begin to see that the external hands are also involved, especially when I was a president. So it's a bit complex. And it's not a matter of a single story. But I believe as a nation, we have to look at the concept of Boko Haram and approach it differently from the conventional approach. I believe one day we'll get over it. So once again, let me thank General Irabo for this, because I always appreciate people who clearly document events, so that maybe sometimes when we write our own, we'll borrow from your documentation. And I believe that all the military officers who were involved in this Boko Haram saga should be able to give us information about what the Boko Haram stood for. If it is only about hunger, because we tried different options, I don't need to give a sermon. It will look as if I am trying to defend my own government. That will come up later when we will document, we write our books. But I believe we took different options, we set different committees. We tried our best within that 5 years that I was there. I believe late Buhari too must have tried his best, because one of the committees we set up then, the Boko Haram nominated Buhari to lead their team to negotiate with government. So I was feeling that, if they nominated Buhari to represent them and have a discussions with the government committee, then when Buhari took over, it could have been an easy way to negotiate with them, and they would have handed over their guns, but it was still there till today. I believe the government, luckily the defense minister is here. The service chiefs all are represented here. I think we will need a slightly different approach, and God willing, we will be able to resolve this crisis. I thank you all.
The author and the celebrant. Your Excellencies, Your Eminence, Your Royal Highnesses, distinguished members of offices you hold, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me start by giving rules for this occasion. Except those that I will mention now who are on the program, the keynote remark maker, the book reviewer, the author, and the remark of the special guest of honor. Those are 4. And then, of course, the remark of the President that will be given by the Minister of Defense. Everybody else that will speak is given only 5 minutes, except those 5 people. And if you are speaking more than 5 minutes, I will clear my throat. If you do not take note of that, if I clear my throat the second time, then you will be switched off. And I don't think you will want to have that. Now, we will leave here not a minute later than 1 o'clock. Your Eminence, agreed? See, my first task is done. In my village, when I was growing up, we had a policeman, very tough, and they always give him a very difficult investigation to carry out. And when you go to him to beg, he was an illiterate, he never went to school. And when he wanted to show you that he's a no-nonsense man, he will say, my duty must be due. So my duty must be due. Your Eminence, my duty has been due. Your Excellencies, for me, it's really a great pleasure to be here. When General Rabo asked me to write the foreword to his book, I was extremely pleased. And I did not lose time at all to do it. And as I said, partly in my foreword, this is the first time we are getting an insider, an eyewitness person to say it as he sees it, as he knows it, as he understands it about Boko Haram and the situation of insecurity we have been in for over 15 years with 4 administrations. And I remember that this will not be the first time we will have security issue, military type in this country. We had a little bit not so militant before independence, but after independence, we have the thief riot. We had also the civil war and what you may call the pre-civil war. But the civil war lasted 30 months. And it was a great security situation for Nigeria. A situation that really nearly broke up the country. But it took us 30 months. And here we had Boko Haram. When in 2011, I went to Maiduguri to try and find out, after Boko Haram has attacked the UN office here in Abuja, if that's Boko Haram, what was it? Who were there? What are the objectives? What do they want? How can we satisfy them? I found, yes, there was Boko Haram. I found they were not really aiming for anything political, nor anything seriously religious. But in short, they were looking for a better life. And any other thing attached to that is a better life for them. Have we understood that? If we have we taken the steps that we should take? If we have, why are we, after 15 years, Boko Haram is now virtually becoming part of our life? Should we accept that? If we should not accept it, what should we do? How much do we know? Even from the other side and from this side. Have we been active enough? Have we been proactive enough? I think we have to ask ourselves the necessary questions to be able to deal with this thing that is now becoming a monster within our country. And that was why I was very anxious, if I can put it that way, and I was delighted to write the foreword. And having written the foreword, I thought my job was done. And then General Rabo came and said, I have to be chairman. And I got a message, very clear message to General, as a colleague. I said, are you not asking for overkill? If I have written the foreword, for me to come up and be chairman again, can you help me out? And I thought, I wrote the message in such a way that I would get excused. Then he came back. He was even stronger in the demand. And I said, well, I won't disappoint a young colleague. I will be. I want to thank you again, as I have said, for the courage. Because you need courage to write the type of book you have written. And I also see, and you mentioned it in the video that we saw, that interrogation will be a strong word, but that's the word you use. Shouldn't we examine our past? What is in our past that is becoming debilitating, disrupting to our present and obviously to our future? And I believe that is what you have tried to do in your book. There is normally the tendency, don't talk about it, let's leave it. And I believe that we must get out of that culture. Let us see it as it is. The history, the life of any nation, any family, any institution has the good, the bad, and the ugly. What is important, and our Master of Ceremony and Mistress of Ceremony made that point, is let us have it, let us look at it, and let us think about it. And when we have to find solution, we may even look beyond what we can see. Let us think beyond what is available. And I think that is what you have done here. And I will urge and appeal that those who have things to say about this particular issue of Boko Haram, we don't even know where Boko Haram stops and banditry starts and kidnapping begins. They are all mixed together. We can't go on this way. Surely we can't. And something must be done. And the beginning of something being done is this book, Scars, Nigeria's Journey and the Boko Haram Conundrum. I hope and I appeal that those who have things to say, who know things that we should know, come up. And by the time we put, even those who have been on the other side, who have been part or supporter of Boko Haram, for whatever Boko Haram is, let them write, let them speak up. And that way, we will be able to find solution to this ugly problem, which cannot continue to go without bringing it to an end.
I'm not going to say anything about insecurity or the way to end insecurity or whatever it is. No. I want to adopt all what's been said from the beginning of this program, because these are the ways and means of resolving such issues. But what President Jonathan said, I was expecting him to make a very strong comment about how he really dealt with the issue of Boko Haram, which he used both the military and myself and other stakeholders. But maybe he decided not to, because a book is coming after that from him on how I dealt with Boko Haram issue. And let me also correct you, like I am happy to hear that the Boko Haram is not really Boko Haram. That's not their name. I'm glad to hear that from somebody who is not me. If I were the one who is saying that, somebody will say yes, because I know them. And that's not their name, because I know that they never claimed Boko is haram. If you have listened to some of their audio, which I had privilege of listening to, they said they didn't say Boko is haram, because so many of them have also gone to school. And they said you cannot open somebody's brain and remove the education in his head. So he has already acquired that knowledge, that education. He's an engineer, he's a doctor, he's whatever it is. What they are saying is that those who have gone to school and are educated are leading bad governments. What they're after is the issue of bad governance, because they want to be free, they want to do whatever they feel they should do. And I want to correct, and I'm glad this is carried on TV, live. I want to correct this wrong notion that people, non-Muslims, hold about jihad. Jihad is not to kill a non-Muslim by a Muslim. Jihad means to strive. And in whatever you do in life, you strive to be the best you can be. You strive to be a good Muslim. You strive to be a good Christian. You strive to be a good farmer or a good engineer. So jihad is not to kill a non-Muslim. That's a wrong notion people have been airing out for decades. And I wrote a foreword on a book. Across the world, published by the King of Jordan. And I wrote that forward, and I believe that book will be brought back again, because it was about 13, 14 years ago. And it talked about the uses and abuses of jihad. Because at the back of the book, I remember very well, because they said one of the most fearsome words a non-Muslim would hear is the word jihad. And it's true, because people have already given it a very negative connotation, but it is not. And so let's live here with that notion that, look, jihad is to strive, it's not to kill a non-Muslim. Because as we know as Muslims, it's in the Holy Quran, you cannot take somebody's life without due process. You cannot kill somebody. Because they said to kill a life, take a life or kill somebody, it's like taking the whole of humanity. That's without being following due process. But these are things that scholars will talk to you about. So let's live here with this notion that jihad is not to kill, because we are living peacefully with one another. I'm a Muslim and I know I'm a Muslim. If you're a Christian, you know you're a Christian. Then when we understand one another, we are better equipped to deal with one another. Because I know who you are, you know who I am. There's nothing you can do to me. There's something I can do to you. Understanding is the most important thing. We understand one another and live peacefully in this country.
Guys, you have heard it for yourself. Good luck, Jonathan is saying that Buhari nominated, the same Buhari who was nominated by Boko Haram to speak for the people, ended up becoming the president of Nigeria. The same Tinubu who is said to have been a drug cartel, now is ruling Nigeria. That tells you the kind of leaders we have in the country. You know, that tells you that Nigeria always comes last when it comes to choosing the best to lead them. And it's because of INEC. INEC is the one doing all this. When INEC sees money, INEC loses its control. INEC cannot caution its staff. INEC cannot put measures in place to ensure that their staff don't go out to rig election. Now we are learning from Ghana. Ghana, that is even a very smaller country to compare with Nigeria. Now Nigeria is learning from Ghana because we are not still ready to salvage ourselves. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about all what President Jonathan spoke here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification. Thank you.